Dereta, dereta, dereta. Stoppa, stoppa, stoppa. Muokere, muokere. Hop, 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 hop. Non muova. L'asparagus.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So in the video today, I'm going to be discussing about applying to PA school, specifically researching PA schools that you apply to. I've probably said this so many times. If you've seen my previous videos, I've repeated this over and over again, but I just want to let you guys know it's really important for you to research the programs you're applying to before you apply to them. So I will be discussing this topic in this video for those of you who are applying to PA school or thinking about applying to PA school or are interested in PA school or have already submitted your applications to PA school or even re-applicants to PA school. Hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. And I'll also talk about my mistakes that I made, hence why I'm making this video. For those of you who are new to my channel, I am a second year PA student. I'm currently in my clinical rotations. I just finished my ER rotation, my OB-GYN rotation, and my surgery rotation, which I think are probably one of the hardest rotations out of your entire clinical year. So thankfully I'm done with that, and then I'll be starting my next rotations next year. So I have about one more year until I graduate. And I applied twice before getting accepted to PA school. So the first time I applied, I got rejected by all the schools I applied to. I got waitlisted by one and then was eventually rejected. And the second time I applied to, I got accepted to my #1 school, and I also was given a lot of interviews to go to, which I didn't go to all of them because I was already accepted into the school I wanted to attend. So one of the reasons I had such a better outcome the second year comparison to the first year was because I researched the schools I applied to. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. So it's really important that you research the schools that you apply to, because usually, sometimes but not always, every year some PA programs tend to change the requirements that they have. So just because you applied last year to that program, they may have changed the requirements already the second time that you applied to. And I can definitely say this was true when I applied to PA school. Also, not all the programs have the same requirements. Some PA schools offer certain prerequisites. So that's another thing that's really important. If you are in your undergraduate years and you're taking your prerequisites and you are dead set on to this PA program to attend, you want to make sure that you are up to date on their prerequisites that they are requiring, because certain PA programs require prerequisites that other PA programs do not require. Usually, of course, you'll have the common ones like anatomy, physiology, and then your biology and your chemistry classes. But then you have really weird ones. Like, I know one of the schools in Texas that I wanted to apply to required virology as a prerequisite, and I had not taken virology. I did not know you needed to take virology as a prerequisite. I ended up applying to this program the first year, and I wasted about $200 because it was about, I know it's about $60 to $100 on CASP application to apply, and then on top of that, you had to pay for second-year applications that some of the programs or PA schools have. And so I wasted $200 on that. And if I would have researched the school and looked at the prerequisites, I would have saved those $200. So not only will it help you save money, also help you save money when you're applying to the programs. If you research your programs and you look at your application and you see, you know what, I do not have the GPA that they're requiring, I do not have the GRE score that they're requiring. There's certain programs that will explicitly say that GRE score is of greater than 300. Now, my GRE score was definitely less than 300 the first time I applied to PA school. Not very competitive whatsoever. So for example, in cases where your GRE score is not very competitive, I really recommend, if you can, definitely retake the GRE score, because now a lot of PA programs are migrating towards requiring the GRE as a requirement to apply to them, but then you also have those PA programs that do not require the GRE. So if you also research these schools and you see that they don't require the GRE, then definitely submit your application if your GRE score was not very competitive. So that's another important reason of why you want to research the schools you're applying to. The prerequisites, of course, the GPA cutoff that they accept, also the patient care experience hours and the healthcare experience hours cutoff that they have. There are some programs that required a minimum of 1,000 hours of patient care experience hours, and my first year I had zero patient care experience hours when I applied to PA school. And I still applied to these programs. I remember some of the programs I was rejected the next day, if not the following week. So it was just like this. I could have saved money if I would have researched the program, but I did not. Also, for healthcare experience hours, the same thing. What is their cutoff? What is their minimum? Some programs have 500 hours, 1,000 hours. They tend to vary between program. Not only that, also what type of healthcare and patient experience hours they accept. Also, what do they consider as patient care experience hours? What do they consider as healthcare experience hours? There'll be programs that will consider something like medical assistant as healthcare experience hours, and then some programs will accept medical assistant as patient care experience hours, or even scribing for doctors is something that's very common that a lot of pre-PA students do. And I think it's a great thing to do because you gain that knowledge and that skill of being able to know how to manipulate medical records, how to enter information, and I think this skill is really important. I wish I would have done that because now during my clinical year, we're having to make sure that every patient that we see during our clinical rotation, that we input and that we write a medical record for them. So of course, if you are scribing, this is definitely a plus for you because you already have that skill. But then there's programs that do not accept scribing as a patient care experience hours, rather they accept it as healthcare experience hours. So that's why, once again, it's really important that you research and you see what they accept as what. And usually they'll just have, they'll say, we accept for patient experience hours, we accept nursing or dental hygiene or etc. So they'll have a list of what they accept as patient care experience hours and healthcare experience hours. If you're curious or they don't have what you're doing listed, make sure that you call or you contact the school. But you want to make sure that you have the correct patient care experience hours or healthcare experience hours, and that you're submitting it and entering it correctly on your CASPA application. So that's why it's really important that you research the school that you are applying to. Also, researching the school that you're applying to will help you know when their deadline is for their applications, whether they accept students on a interview basis. So for example, they open their application cycle in May, and as they are getting interviews, they're accepting students. So this will also let you know how early you have to submit your application, because if you submit your application late and they're accepting students on an rolling basis, so they're accepting students as they interview them, and you submit your application in October, then there'll be very few seats and you'll be competing for those few seats. So is it good to apply to these schools? It's also important to see when they start looking at applications and whether they accept on an interview basis. That way you know when to submit your application or whether you want to even apply to the school or not. Also, to research how many seats the PA program has. For example, if you have a program that gets over 5,000 applications and they only have 20 seats available, are you going to apply to them, save your $60 or $100 to apply to them, or apply to a program that has 100 seats available? So that way you get to research how many seats available each program has. So that's why it's really important that you research every school you apply to. This is something I did the second year I applied to PA school. Also, researching every program is really important, especially before you go to your interviews, because usually the program will ask you, well, what do you like about it that made you apply to this program? And if you just kind of clicked on it because it was in California, but you know nothing about the program, this is not going to look very good on your interview. So also, researching the program is really important before you interview at the school, so you can know their background, you can know their pass rate also. What is their total pass rate for their PANCE exam? Usually if they have a low pass rate, then definitely you don't want to apply to that school. So that's why it's really important, once again, to research a school, not only before you're applying to PA school, but if you get an interview with them. So these are the reasons why it's really important that you research the schools that you're applying to. It will help you save money. It will better prepare you for your interview, and also it'll prepare you to take the classes. You don't have to take unnecessary classes that you don't need to. Say that you thought physics was needed for one of your prerequisites for one of the programs, and you took the class and you're like, oh my gosh, it's not needed. Then you wasted time. You could have taken something else, because oh my gosh, guys, I hated physics, and I don't think I used physics at all. And I'm in my clinical year right now, and I don't think I've used it at all. And if physics was necessary for my degree, but was not necessary for some of the programs I applied to, I would not have taken it. So that's why it's important that you research the schools. Alright guys, hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. As always, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, any feedback, make sure you comment below. Or just shoot me an email and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. Alright guys, thanks for watching my videos and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.